Nowadays, life is intertwined with technology. Let's figure it out. Welcome to Life, Tech, and Sundry. Good evening. Greetings. My name is Marcos Lopez, and you are listening to Life, Tech, and Sundry. Today, we have Mr. J and Alan.
What's going on, guys? Good to be back.
And of course, that's Mr. J.
Yeah. I'm back, guys. Better than ever.
But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the thoughts, if you will, that intrigued us and make us question my sanity. Okay?
Well, we're always questioning that.
Or maybe the necessity of me needing meds, if you will. Help,
Yes.
it's always good for everyone to have some help, but in my situation, Now,
Right,
let's
right.
dig in.
Okay, so the first one here we have is first vaccine, and it offers more protection against COVID-19. I think you used it wrong then.
And then,
then the yearly vaccine against the flu. Too enticing to be true, right? I think you have an article here. I'm gonna.
the yearly, yeah.
Then you have a works cited page here. So yeah. So, in the news, I don't know if you guys been keeping up, but supposedly a company called Pfizer. They also have here another company, but I don't know about that. But Pfizer has some good results that this vaccine that they're creating so far has been very positive with the results. They're going to enter into a next phasing of testing to make sure, but right now they're available to make, I think, like a few million by the end of this year, and then the end of next year is like 1.3 billion. Just keynote though, you're gonna have to need 2 vaccines because there's 2 different strands out there. So yeah, what's your thoughts?
Interesting.
Alan, please.
Well, to be quite honest, I did listen to some reports online in, I guess, some YouTubers in the business genre or world explaining and talking about it, where the vaccine has a 90% success rate where people are feeling better, I guess, and 90% seems relatively high. So this is one of the reasons why, and I'm sorry to to jump to another section, but it's related because the vaccine news, to a certain degree, had an effect on the stock market, which jumped up super high on the news of the vaccine, on the news of potentially President-elect Joe Biden. So that's still in the works. No one really knows. Most likely he is going to be the president, but Trump right now is doing his thing, fighting the fraudulent votes, I guess, of what he thinks. But point is that because of that news, it all kind of like snowballed into, okay, that news led to, or not, it didn't lead to, but it also came along or on the heels of the vaccine 90% success rate. The stock market went way up, and then later on, I think the next day, it went back down just as quick as it went up when people started realizing that the votes were being contested, and I guess to a certain degree, how much vaccines there are going to be for people to actually to get vaccine, because I'm pretty sure this is what was said about the vaccine, that people that are essential workers or that are people in the medical industry would be the first people to get the vaccine or whatnot. So it might be at first a limited supply to a limited amount of people, and to be quite honest, and I think we've spoken about this before, as far as when it comes to electronics or something like a cell phone, you never want to get the first iteration of anything. And I think this also trickles down to medical or vaccine necessities or needs, where it's like it's the first of its type. You don't know the secondary effects. As for me, I don't know if I feel a little bit iffy about getting the vaccine, whether, and in this case, it would be two different types of vaccine for two different type of strands of COVID. So yeah, that's a little iffy. At least for me, I don't know. There might be people that are, very gun ho. Yeah, let's get the vaccine. I mean, my prayers will be with you. That's all I can say.
It's risky, yeah.
Yeah, it's 90% isn't 100%. Last time I checked, at least for me, for certain things, especially with your health, I rather have 100% or over a 90%. People might want to argue with me about that. I mean, you're more than welcome to have your own opinion, and yeah, you can disagree with me. But when it comes to personal health, I think, at least for me, safety wise, I would really think twice about getting something that's not 100% yet. At least for me, I'm not, in the front lines, at least in the medical field or of any sort, nor am I in one of the industries where you can say I am an essential worker to a certain degree. So I don't think that I will be getting this time around the vaccine. Maybe when it comes out with the second or third iteration, when it's a little bit more 100%, maybe I'll think about it again. I'll see. We'll see where we at. Where the vaccine will be at, maybe by, I don't know, next year, springtime, or depending on how it goes. But at least for me, seeing this volatility in the market, and I know I'm going back to the market and stock market.
I mean, that's what you observe a lot. So I feel like you can talk about what you've been living through.
I saw it go up, it go down drastically, and just makes you think how fickle things seem to be right now, and how volatile things seem to be at the moment. And for that reason, I'm out. And I'm definitely second guessing the situation, especially with this vaccine news. It's good to hear that breakthroughs are coming through. It does kind of go to show you, and to the ingenuity and the relentless work of scientists and doctors getting at this vaccine. It's really refreshing and good to see that things are being done to combat the virus. So that's my thought, initial thoughts, I guess you can say, about this whole vaccine situation. But what about you guys?
So may I go next?
Yeah, sure, bro.
Okay. So a couple of things. First, unfortunately, I'm also agreeing that I'm not going to take it right now because of there's other people that need it more, but also I don't want the risk. Unfortunately, if the frontline workers, aka the nurses and the doctors, are going to take it, they're going to be seen as test subjects as well. Because with the 90% effectiveness results, they were done with a pool of around 44,000, and that's the last thing that they reported on Monday. And for me, a 90% on 40,000 people, it's good. But I feel like it should be even higher. I want an A, but I want that full 100% coverage. And realistically, nothing is 100% in the medical field, because first, the virus is also fighting to survive, so it's going to change.
It starts to mutate. Right.
Yes. Right. So if you get it, if there's a certain advantage, if you get it fresh, if you get it right now, well, it's still in the process of mutating, and having a 90% chance of being effective is pretty good. But I'd rather let other people that are constantly at risk doing their work in the medical field to be, I don't want to say to them be the study group, but they're going to be, unfortunately, a bigger pool. And then there's going to be, like you said, the monetization. I feel like marketing, because when they announced that on Monday, you saw how sensitive, how fickle. What was the word you said, Alan?
For the market, how volatile
Yeah.
it was, where it went up super quick,
But
and
what
then the
went up?
next day, the stock market. Like, okay,
For-
let me be more specific.
Yes, please.
All right, so the shares of companies that were not doing so well in the market, and I'll give you the specifics. So companies that mainly have to do with travel and food, and to those type of industries. So let me give an example: Carnival Cruise Line, American Airlines, Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Right. Let me see. A Cheesecake Factory. Companies that really thrive when there's travel and business going on. Like before COVID, when life was a little bit more normal. So these are the industries that got hit the worst during COVID, and a lot of people sold out of those companies and dropped those companies' valuations to all-time lows. I guess you can say they were very inexpensive, and people shifted to stocks or equities, stocks
Real estate?
like Zoom. No. Well, you can say real estate. There's people that said, okay, let's buy land or properties. But when I mean securities or stocks, I'm speaking about the ones that did really well during COVID when it was announced in March. So companies like Zoom, companies like Microsoft, companies like Apple, Tesla, Facebook, Google, like a lot of tech companies, AMD, Activision, it seemed to be doing really well. But I guess to be more specific, like a stock like Zoom did very well for the past 8 to 9 months during COVID, and a lot of that money that was pumped into those type of stocks, tech stocks, and stay-at-home stocks, the Costco's, the Sam's Clubs, the Walmarts, the Targets, they were doing really well. When the vaccine information or news came out with a 90% success rate, a lot of people, and it was literally announced, I believe, on either a Friday, Saturday, Monday morning. Everybody and their mother and their grandmother opened up their brokerage accounts first thing bright and early. And it was such a crazy influx of people trying to make trades in the morning at 9:30 Eastern time, that a lot of brokerages, whether it be Ameritrade, Webull, what's it called, M1,
Robinhood, yeah.
Right. A lot of these brokerages were not ready for that many people going into their brokerages trying to make buys or sells. And by, I want to say 11 o'clock in the morning, from 9:30 to 11 o'clock, there was just a mass exit of a lot of these stay-at-home stocks. And they pumped money into stocks that were doing really bad. Again, the Carnival, the American Airlines, the Cheesecake Factory type of travel and hospitality type of stocks.
Imagine the medical one as well.
Well, the medical one, depending on what type, like a pharmaceutical, whether it be a Pfizer or a Merck, a Johnson and Johnson, what else? CVS. These type of stocks were doing, relatively well. CVS was a little on the iffy side, but as far as I could tell, but it still was doing relatively well compared to other stocks. Again, these are the companies that you can consider stay-at-home stocks, where people buy from these places, and and people bought into that stock, no matter what the share price was, because they saw it as a good investment during these difficult times. But once they heard the vaccine news, a lot of people jumped ship and started selling crazy out of those stocks, stay-at-home stocks, and started buying the travel and hospitality and business type of stocks that I mentioned before. And then out of nowhere, again, a lot of people sold out of those stocks they had previously or just recently purchased, because they kind of realized, and this could be different people have different perspectives on what it was, but it might be the simple fact that, okay, you buy into these companies, but who's really traveling?
They're
not
like,
a lot of people.
I mean, investors are putting in the money because they're calling like a 6 month, and I think probably in their procedure to invest on them so that they can. There's a system or infrastructure for these services to be ready when customers flow in at a higher rate. But it's too risky. You're right. I'm just saying it's too risky right now.
No.
Considering
you're
how
absolutely right. People they kind of realize, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people realize, okay, even if there's a 90% success rate, even if people started, having the okay to not be so scared of the virus, but who right now, economically speaking, in a majority sense, has the capital to actually travel? Not a lot of people. A lot of people are laid off. A lot of people got fired. A lot of people don't have jobs. So for them to scrounge up the money to go across the world, in an airplane, it's highly unlikely. So people kind of got scared. This might be just my perspective, but I truly believe that a lot of people started thinking about it and were like, oh, yeah. We're going into winter season, at least in this part of the world. And a lot of people are probably thinking, okay, depending on who the president is.
Even that, yeah. True.
Yeah. I mean, he made it pretty clear that he wasn't opposed to shutting down the economy again. So people are, I guess to a certain degree, safe from the virus, stuck at home with no jobs. But again, financially speaking, we have to understand that right now, as of this moment, the stock market doesn't reflect and is disconnected to the real economy. So
this was
there
an
is
impulsive
no correlation.
Buy. Damn.
So a lot of people might be stuck with bags in their hands of stocks that are probably not as useful as they thought they would be, or not hedging as well as they thought they would be.
What was that?
Or
were you
just
saying the whale
mismanagement? Oh, that was something else. That was when I mentioned the whale, a firm or a company or a person that's very wealthy just buys a lot of stock of one certain type of company and basically artificially manipulates to a certain degree.
In this case, it wasn't market. That. You don't think
it wasn't that? It was a bunch of people
mentality.
Yes,
like
it
on
was,
Black Friday.
It was just a bunch of people thinking maybe short term what would be a great investment, long term. Right. They thought about it long term, but they thought about it short. They bought short term in a sense because they really didn't hash out that thought process, I guess. And this is just me spitballing at this point because I don't know everybody's risk tolerance, nor do I know the way they think. But I truly believe that a lot of people just thought about it in the moment and said, let me just, FOMO buy and see if this is gonna, pan out. But they must have thought at some point, wait, okay, just because there's a vaccine doesn't mean that the economy is gonna automatically fix itself and go back to the way it was. People have had no jobs for about, the longest would probably be 8 to 9 months. So they have no money coming in unless they're, getting money from the government in the form of aid, getting some sort of money from the government isn't the same as you going to go work and get a paycheck,
It's not.
If people were not hurting as bad for cash because they were a little bit more financially flexible to a certain degree, which means, they were a little more frugal, and they had some sort of savings, and they were able to dial down their consumer habits. They probably have hopefully a good chunk of change in their savings account where they can probably buy things that are relatively cheap now, and it might go even cheaper. Who knows? Maybe we'll see in the next couple of months, maybe next year around springtime. Who knows? Maybe the price of housing goes even further down. Maybe the stock market actually does some sort of rebalancing of some sort, and we see stocks being a little bit less expensive where people can actually buy more. But I mean, right now that's all speculation. We'll see. But that is something that we definitely saw in the stock market, just the volatility go whoop really high up and then whop really quick down. And it was crazy to see. And I mean, again, for the people that like to buy and hold, it might have been a good move. For people that, have a pretty well diversified,
a package.
What's it called? Yeah,
a portfolio.
Portfolio. Sorry, I totally lost my train of thought.
I was thinking about which one is what is it?
Yeah, for people that have a pretty well diversified portfolio, they might be in a good enough situation where that volatility didn't hurt them as bad. So again, this is all, we're not financial advisors. I can't stress this enough. This is for purely entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research. Go to your CPA, go to whoever handles your taxes and financial services, and speak to that person so you can get a better understanding and a better grasp of what you should be doing for yourself. We're just a couple of guys on the internet in the
my mind.
Yeah, just talking. So please don't do what we say. This is just information or observations purely from us, and speculation. So with that out the way, this is what I saw. So I don't know what you think, guys. As far as this is what I saw, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like from what hearing your guys' opinion, I feel like you guys are taking this as almost like, here's the vaccine. What do you guys think? And that's what it looked like, especially in the stock market. Like you said, it just shot up, and then once they realized what it was, it just went back down to normal. But this report was not that. It was marked the fact that, listen, guys, these companies have been working on this for a while, and these are the results they have. They're saying that these results are a lot better than nothing. They have some positivity into this.
It's all about perspective, yeah.
They even say that right now, who's gonna get it? Who knows? Because it's not even out yet. They still have to get more testing, more data analysis on this. Because, like Marco said, they only did it to 40,000 people. Mind you, though, those 40,000 people were people from different countries,
volunteers, I think.
Yeah. So obviously they have to look more into it. And they're saying that they're not going to release it anytime soon, but these are what we have so far. So and the fact of 90%, that's a lot better than most cases. There's some surgeries out there. There's like a 60-40.
My eye surgery was 60-40.
So even for some cases, even getting as close to 70% is a lot better than keeping it at 30. So, I'm obviously not saying take the vaccine now or be the first ones in line, but, 90% of
something.
Of something is a lot.
Then 0% of everything.
That means that way more than the majority of the group had positive results. And saying to what Alan said, it's great to have 100, but realistically, 100% don't exist in this world.
And that 100 is going. It's going to get farther the longer the time we spend treating this virus, because it's going to adapt. It'll find a way.
But this is just like, this is basically what I'm trying to say. This is a progress report.
True.
This is where we're at right now. We don't want to leave you guys in the dark. This is what we got so far. We're seeing some positive trends here, but we still got a long way to go.
I like that. Yes.
Maybe as far as like buying stock, because I'm not really a stock guy. I mean, maybe the people that maybe bought or stalled stock, maybe they did it preemptively. They're like, okay, they're seeing some positive trend. All right, guys, let's just go in. It's the same thing with like other things. Maybe like I think Alice said in the past, when Apple released their iPhones, their stock went up. I don't know if they still are going up, but maybe at this point they're like settled down since everybody got the new phone.
You're not wrong. May I say something? May I be a little bit of cheeky?
Sure.
We could always, the Chinese vaccine is out. People could always line up for that one.
I mean, that's true, but I mean, like I said, this is
a progress. I'm being cheeky. I'm just
This is not the vaccine. No, they're not saying, oh yeah, we have the vaccine ready to go. They even said it themselves. Let me see what they say in the article you have here. However, the data presented is not the final analysis. That is based only on the first 94 volunteers developed COVID. So the precise effectiveness of the vaccine may change when the full results are analyzed. So they're saying that they're not done. This is what the progress they have so far, but they have to fully analyze it still. So they're not to the point to where they're gonna give it out, but there's, like I said, this is something good. That means that they're going in the right track.
Yes, I was just being cheeky.
Hopefully soon that they'll have a final vaccine or treatment or whatever. So yeah,
I concur. But yeah, I mean, it's me just being a little bit cynical, if you will.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, we gotta next topic, please.
Okay, I'm gonna bounce around because I feel like some of these things are just thoughts.
I mean, read the title. Read the title, except for the number of the.
So I'm gonna do one of mine. So talking about Apple, Apple recently released their new laptops with their new silicon chips for their laptops, the M1 chip.
M1
Abrams. Wait, what?
So I have here some things here. The M1 chip is basically an all-in-one chip. What I mean by that is that they have here the CPU, the GPU, their cache, and of course the RAM.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I guess like in a business standpoint, this makes sense because they're saving money on building their own chips. Intel is it's a great company, but they're a third party, and that's gonna cost them more money than them actually designing and building their own CPUs or chips.
And then
at this point.
There's less security leaks, of course, with that.
Yeah, that's true. But some key things to note.
Yes.
So one of the key features of the computer is the RAM. RAM is pretty important because it handles different process, or it gives the CPU space for it to process different things. RAM is typically something that is known to break easily. They're not exactly the most sturdy of things, but they tend to be one of the first things to break. But in this case, if your RAM has some faults or some errors, in order to resolve this, most people would just switch the RAM if it's up to that point.
It happened to you, remember?
Yeah. But in this case, if you want to switch the RAM, you basically have to buy a new computer entirely. Because the chip, they're not gonna sell the chips singly. And the only place of getting new RAM is another chip. So, it's like it's a good chip. I mean, of course, I don't know how accurate these graphs are because these graphs are not labeled. They don't label their axes, or they don't number their axes. They label them, but they don't number them. They just have, okay, here's a line, here's our line. What do you think? And they have these numbers like
the trend is your friend
versus power.
Yes.
And like even some other people, like they have here the latest PC laptop chip. What is that? Who knows?
Yeah, right. They
Is
don't
it the AMD
specify.
5000 series? Is it the?
I don't. They don't specify. So yeah. There's a. I feel I like if, me personally, and back to what Alan says. This is the first generation chipset that they're going with. I wouldn't buy them because this is a very risky buy. Because
Right.
if anything goes south, you're gonna have to go and basically buy another computer.
But I feel like that's their marketing scheme. I feel like their group of customers are like they just want it to work, and if there's a problem, they can go get it resolved in the Genius Bar or over customer support. And
Well, you have to realize their resolve is buy a new one.
I never said it was a good one. They have a solution.
Oh yeah, but we have to specify that their solution is buy a new buy a new computer.
Yeah.
Buy a new logic board. Buy a new this. Not like, oh yeah, you have a pin bented here. We could rebent it for you. Stuff like that.
Right.
They're literally reducing the ability to fix it yourself. Might as well get a new part completely.
Now, of course, they also have some pretty crazy claims. Like one of them being that you can edit 2 streams of 4K video at the same time. I've never seen
what?
Wow.
on their. I think on their. I forget what their
Final Cut.
On the Final Cut, yeah, they said that supposedly you can edit 2 streams of 4K at the same time. I'm like, wow.
Interesting.
Over here, they talk about gaming. I'm like, who plays games on a MacBook?
I mean, don't
And
remember, maybe
obviously-
Steam. It has a.
They don't have Steam. No, Steam does not have a lot of games. But to account for that, they're gonna add the iOS App Store on it.
Another walled garden, right?
Oh yeah, and another thing. The M1 chips are ARM-based processors, so similar to the Microsoft SQ1 and 2 processors.
Okay.
So they're gonna have that ARM architecture, but ARM is not that bad.
Look what happened to the first generation for the Surface ones. They were ARMs until recently, right? Until like generation 4.
They're still ARM.
They still are. Yeah.
Yeah, they still are.
They're right now in generation 7, right? I think.
No. So you're talking about the Surface Pros?
Yeah.
They've never been ARM.
No, the Surface one.
Yeah, the Surface Pros, they're not ARMed.
Oh.
They're an x84 processor, so they're regular architecture for any computer and laptop.
Whoa.
The ARM one was I forget what it was called. The other lineup, basically.
The Surface
new
Go?
pen and everything. No, not the Surface Go. I forgot what it was called.
Okay.
But that's the one with the ARM processor. It came out last year, and they came out with a new revamped one. So another
Was that
another
the Surface
problem,
laptop? Was it?
Or was it the Samsung
No,
laptop?
I can look it up. Let me see.
I think it was a Samsung laptop that was
I think it was another Pro, but they didn't call it Pro like a Pro 7.
the
Okay.
peak.
Oh, Microsoft Pro X. There we go.
Okay.
That's the ARM process. That's the ARM core one. So same thing with these. These are also ARM architectures. So they're gonna have a very similar architecture like your phone.
Yes. Yes.
So we'll see how they perform. Some keynotes though, you can't use programs like Photoshop off the bat. Some programs are gonna have to wait till next year for support. But all
Right,
the
I
Apple
And
did
that's
hear about that.
understandable. Yeah.
all the Apple software and all that, they're gonna be available from off the bat. So things like Logic Pro, Final Cut, GarageBand, if you still use that.
Right.
So obviously Apple
So
is making
basically,
some huge claims.
yeah. Like the way, I mean, you explaining it and all, it seems to me that basically this new product that Apple is offering it seems to me that it's made specifically for people that are the core audience of Apple buyers. It's like, unless you're really going to move up or trade up to something of that nature, because the M1 is their, I guess,
their baby.
Yes.
It's basically what they're showing off as being, the first of its kind. Of course, they're going to try to do. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. Apple usually takes a while in order for them to innovate or at least put something out there that they're comfortable and happy with. So, but it seems to me like with this specific M1 chip, more than anything else, I think, and again, we'll see reviews. It's not like we're not going to see reviews of this, the actual component doing its thing, and we'll be the judge through the eyes of other reviewers and whatnot, how good it really is. So I do tend to think, and again, I don't make exceptions, even if it's Apple. I tend not to want to buy the first iteration of anything just to be on the safe side.
Well, we just heard your thoughts on the medical, which is sound. That's a good rule of thumb.
So, and again, I think this product is more geared towards the core audience of Apple, people that are in that ecosystem that really like that that's aesthetic. They're going to buy it regardless if customers. Regardless if it works exceptionally well, just as advertised, or if it doesn't work as advertised, they're still going to buy it to support Team Apple. So, I mean, again, we'll see. Me personally, maybe not my first choice for, I guess, recommending something. Yeah, recommendation more than anything else. I think they have pretty good products, but I wouldn't recommend this one just because it's the first iteration.
May I interject something?
Sure.
Well, with there's going to be a couple of positives as well doing this, right? Putting out this chip. It's going to make their what's Q&R? What is it? Research and development, R&D. There we go. Their R&D get good, right? With this first generation and the data that actual customers, the randomness that your loyal base will always put out for you, making you a better product for the next generations, which maybe Alan, Josue, and I may consider as a potential option for our tech gear. But right now, they're too young, right? They're too fresh with that M1. The marketing may sound great, but unless you want to invest on not a new technology, what's the word I'm looking for?
So wait, what you're trying to say is,
I like your cut, G.
No. I mean, I've always liked Apple's.
Cut G, yes,
the cut of their jib, but
exactly, you like their cut. They just ring the Taco Bell.
Yeah, sure, but this one ain't it. Not. I'm not gonna pull the trigger to purchase it, and that they're going hard on the paint with the marketing.
Yeah, because like I said, the graphs are pretty vague.
Right.
They don't show a lot. So yeah.
But that means nothing for someone that's savvy that knows what they want. It's just for a customer like, ooh, Mac, new product, buy.
Exactly.
No, I mean, there's people like that. That's what
and have the drip of the new item.
Right. Well, not even that. It's just that's the core audience it's pandering to. It's peddling all of its products to those core audience members or people, where it's like, okay, no matter how much of a Samsung fanboy I tend to be, I'm not going to go and buy that first iteration knowing full well that there are going to be hiccups and bugs and fixes that need to be done in order for it to actually work well.
Look at the Surface phone. I was saying, like, come on, it's so good. But you said, calm down.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's using, maybe a year or two of components that were, that old, a year old components. So it makes no sense buying it at the price it's at for last year's components and, basically specs. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want people to pull the trigger on something that it's outdated already from the jump.
Now, question regarding that outdatedness. Doesn't that also mean... Okay, yes. Go. Sorry.
What I was also trying to say about the Apple thing, I think the reason they're pushing so hard for this new M1 chip is because, think about it, they are going to start putting these type of chips in all of their products. Hence the reason why they're pushing it so hard.
What do you mean, like on their phone, laptop, tablet?
Yeah. Again, Apple's the type of company that wants full control of everything that the Apple product or the Apple brand, the umbrella, that they have falls under. So whether it be the laptop, the iPad, the watch, the phone, the speaker. You saw the speaker that came out, the new one, Apple's
HomePod.
what's it called? The Pod Mini. Yeah. So all these products are going to be in one way or another integrated, and the chipset that they're going to start using is just another layer and level and flavor of their ecosystem, where everything is going to be dictated by Apple to get the exact the exact type of what they want for their customer or core audience. So I mean, that's why I think they're pushing it so hard in order for them to make it seem more exclusive. It's like, all right, if you want this product, it's not going to be able to sync with anything else except with, only other Apple products.
It's that exclusiveness, more or less. That's like their branding.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's the wall garden you were talking about, where that's what they're pushing for. And I think that's why they're going so aggressive with, the latest and greatest, the new M1 chip. No one else is going to have it except us, making it seem the perception of exclusivity. All right, excellent, great. That's what they have. Now let's see how that actually, moving forward, stacks up against other chipset manufacturers. Let's see if it's really all it's cracked up to be, which to me, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing, great thing, because I do want competition between these companies to see who can produce a better chipset. That's awesome. That's my final thoughts. Oh. Yeah, please go ahead.
So there were a couple of things that I wanted to maybe
Your
counter.
Question, right?
Yeah, counter argument for the old hardware. Doesn't that mean that there's more support for it compared to the latest and greatest? And there could be debugging situations that we could be within the micro production line or in the stock itself, that aka the Surface example. This is my counterpoint for it, or for the recent Pixel 5 and 4a, right? They don't have a specific chip for processing your pictures, or even the latest and greatest in chip CPUs. They have last gen CPUs but better software, which Google and Apple are trying to do different methods to accommodate for a customer base, like Apple having a walled garden, something that they can control 100%, aka in the software and in the hardware, versus Google that has one generation old products, but have high support via software and high support in fixing it, whatever issues there were within iterations of the same model, and a steady supply considering how the world is right now. And Apple has it on their own way that they can have their own supply, control within their own supply, and quality control that they could have more security. In the meantime, Google has that vulnerability in the sense of security of steady supply, that they have old generation model chips. They're going to want less people are going to want the older products, except for lower tier, not flagship cell phones. That's what I'm trying to say. But they're trying to give it like a flagship quality with not flagship prices, compared to Apple, that's a walled garden and exclusivity. You're paying for the branding, versus Apple, you're not. I mean, Google, you're not. Salutations, Marcos here. This is a message to all the listeners out there. There are links in the show notes for our Twitter, email, and even show notes. Any questions or ideas for the podcast can be sent via these links. Now, back to our regularly scheduled podcast.
Now, I would, and just a little bit of a rebuttal there, Marcos. Now, if I knew for a fact that because Apple's making everything in-house now, that would lower the price on the product, then I would say, okay, they're being competitive in the pricing. But up until now, like, it doesn't seem to me, and I don't think moving forward, they're going to make it cheaper because now everything is in-house. It seems to me they're going to try to bump up the price. And one of the things I did hear about Apple products is that they're moving towards, especially with I think it was the new iPhone 12 that came out. You won't be able to go to, a third party, like a you break iFix and try to get it fixed, because Apple has made it somewhat, impossible for other people to fix the phone unless it's Apple that actually fixes it for you.
Or just pushes you to buy a new product.
Exactly. So, I mean, to that point, it's like they're getting very, very like, okay, I understand. They want to, have complete control for quality purposes, for whatever the case is. All right. But it kind of goes against your better judgment, where it's like, okay, I bought this product. It's 100% mine. I bought it with my money. Why do you have to tell me how I'm able to fix it or not? Like, that should be my decision, not yours. But again,
and then Apple's like, it's the branding, the perceived image. That's why they could probably in the back end have lower prices, but in the front maintain or probably even go up. That's my theory.
Well, again, it's like if you buy something outright and it's yours, you bought it, shouldn't you be the person to decide whether you want Apple to fix something or someone else to fix it? And if that's a competitive price where the third party vendor or the third party fixer person is able to fix it for cheaper, would you not go to that person?
I feel
before going to Apple?
You're right. But I think that's like they're perceiving you can't take a Gucci or a Supreme jacket to your local tailor. And I mean, you're not going to be branding it, but unfortunately, Apple has that control in the software, and this isn't a stock product. This has been changed or modified. And that's my theory for them.
No, hey, everybody's gonna lean towards one or the other. I'm not here to argue that point.
No, you're true.
I'm just saying there's gonna be people that are gonna think about it that way and say, "Listen, I bought it with my own money. I'm not going to go over there just for you to..." And again, people's perceptions are skewed sometimes. They're going to think, well, if I can get it cheaper here, I might as well go over there instead of going to Apple. Then they tell me I'm not able to get it fixed. I need to buy a whole new device or something of that nature. And then you get put in that situation where you're like, okay, so it's not worth it anymore. I mean, just goes to show you, like a quick little I guess
tangent or example.
Yeah, I guess you can call it a tangent. I was watching Flossie Carter maybe yesterday or 2 days ago.
Shout out to What Shoes.
Definitely. So he was explaining to someone on his on the messages or his Q&A, where he basically broke down. Flossie was saying it's crazy to him that even in the Apple, I guess you can say not ecosystem, but in the Apple universe, when you have like a Apple iPhone 11, right, and you try to trade it in for the iPhone 12, they're only giving you, or they're only trying to give you about $500 for the trade-in deal, and it boggled his mind. He's like, I spent over over $500.
Three times or two times.
Right. It's like I paid this phone out, right? And you're only willing to get me, like, that's why he was very against, that the trade in for Apple. He's like, I might as well stick to Samsung. I can trade in my phone, and they're willing to give me about $700 for my phone. It's like, that's great. My phone retained its value compared, like, at least for that Samsung device.
It's like cars. You just reminded me of cars. Depreciation, I think the word is.
Right. But the thing is, like, all right, depreciation for vehicle is to me at least, is a lot different from an actual phone.
Yes.
Where it's like you don't get a new car every 6 months. You know.
Meanwhile, a phone you can.
Where a phone usually that's about the time frame you're looking at, 6 months, and you're gonna upgrade if you want to or if you need to. Now, Flossie Carter also went into the thick of it a little bit, explaining this to another person that on his chat, where he basically said, "Listen, I'm not gonna get the new was it iPad? I think he was talking about iPad versus the new Galaxy
Tab. I think.
I think the Tab S."
Yeah.
He's like, "Listen, just use the apps. You like open up Instagram and tell me that the Tab S7 is not better than the iPad. It's like the color, the sound, the crispiness, like it's just a better buy. It's a better deal. It's a better quality than the Apple product. It's like, that's why I would use this is Flossie. That's why I'd rather use the Tab S7 over the iPad." So again, I'm willing to actually agree with Flossie, because he's been in the game for in the tech industry, at least, looking through all these devices and giving his 2 cents, because he's buying it. He's actually
he's voted with his wallet.
Right. He's buying these items from his own pocket. So no one is paying him to say this. So the amount of credibility there is just, it's there. And, it just goes to show you that even though he prefers one thing over another, and he'll be very, transparent about that. He was saying that, I think he was using phone wise, I think he was using what's it called? I don't know if it was a Huawei phone that he was using at the moment or something like that. But he was very, very content with that phone. And again, it wasn't a Samsung phone. So again, it just goes to show you vote with your dollar. You definitely look at these devices and you start creating some sort of, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And if I need to trade up or trade in this device to get the newer one, how much am I getting for it? Did my device really depreciate that much from 3-6 months ago? So
True.
These are the things that I also pay attention to and start thinking to myself, is it really because of quality control, or is it really because the exclusivity, or is it just because the perception of value? And does that really speak to me in any way, shape, or form? Or am I just the type of consumer that rather keep a device that actually doesn't really appreciate because I'm using it, and 6 months from now I know that I'll be getting maybe not full retail price when I trade it in for something, but I'll get a better deal than other manufacturers and companies do. So that to me really, really spoke to me when he was answering those questions, because I truly believe that that's something we should also be mindful of, because like what we were speaking about earlier, not everybody is fortunate enough to have a job, and maybe upgrading to a new device, or because they see something new and shiny from whatever brand or company that's coming out with a new product, we're going to just automatically jump on it, because obviously not everybody is in that position to do such things with their money, because people are out there with no job at the moment. So it's a tough thing.
May I say something real quick?
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
With this example that you're telling me, let's just go with Android and Apple. Oh, and by the way, welcome Elaine. Elaine is back.
Elaine.
Yeah. Hi, I'm finally home, so.
Nice.
I know, it's okay. Well, by the way, we are live and recording. So, Elaine, sup?
Oh, okay.
Like, hi, world.
Hi.
She's like, I don't know. Please don't judge me.
Yeah, honestly.
So yeah. So with that, do you guys want to go move into the next little topic he has here?
Sure.
Yes.
So that's kind of fine. So let's do this one. Fifth state of matter, debatable, but for the potential of new technology advancements, yes, science. Period.
Yay,
Can you,
science.
So
Can you elaborate? Can you break that
So-
down a little bit?
So he has here an article linked, used to make a new type of superconductor. Materials in which this explains a superconductor, sometimes called the fifth state of matter, behind the more commonly known solid, liquid, gases, and plasma. Bose-Einstein condensates are what happens when you cool a gas of bosons right down to the almost the coolest temperature possible. Experiments have been shown at this point quantum phenomena can be observed at the macro scale. Scientists have used BECs as a starting point to create exotic states of matter like supersolids. That's a word.
That's a word, yeah.
Exonium, quantum ball lightning, and fluids exhibiting negative mass. A BEC is a unique state of matter as it is not made from particles but rather waves. Says Kozo. That's our last name. Osakai, lead author of the study. As they cool down near absolute zero, the atoms of certain materials become smeared out over space. This smearing increases the atoms, now more like waves than particles, overlap, becoming indistinguishable from one another. The resulting matter behaves like it's one single entity, with new properties the preceding solid, liquid, or gas states lacked. So yeah, he just basically goes furthermore into it. It's a long article. So yeah, so this fifth state of matter is, as he said, is more of a wave than a particle. It's, I guess, cooled down to the point where it's almost malleable, because he says it's smearable, has to be malleable, I guess.
Sounds like it.
I mean, he doesn't exactly explain what can be used
As a
except for-
superconductor, basically like electrical products,
Yeah,
but in a laboratory, so not consumer friendly right now.
yeah.
Anyways, remember how we were talking with Edgar about having liquid nitrogen in computers? They already exist in laboratories, but it's not consumer friendly.
Well, because you have to realize their use is for supercomputers.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Supercomputers produces a lot of heat because there's multiple cores, multiple CPUs and GPUs running at the same time. So that's going to produce a lot of heat. So they obviously have to do something, and unfortunately, the convenience seems of like either liquid solutions or even water cannot be used. So they have to resort to something like liquid nitrogen since it's really cold.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is just science.
So let's ask Elaine, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm no expert, but I guess I can agree with, I think at some point, like, it could become consumer friendly and, like, help advance a lot in technology.
That's how we got our iPhones or our Androids, because of
Wait,
it used to be a people putting in those calculations, and back. Unfortunately, what's the reasoning behind it? It's nice that this idea exists, but what's really pushing the envelope for development? The Apple,
This thing?
consumers, right? What about
Yeah.
superconductors? What about
I mean, what do you want to use with superconductors for?
you know why the internet started, right?
Because isn't a superconductor like a Tesla coil?
Something like that, but I'd be wrong. Do you want me to ask Google?
No.
Please ask Google.
Hey Google, what is a superconductor?
Oh no.
According to Wikipedia, superconductivity is a set of physical properties observed in certain materials where electrical resistance vanishes and magnetic flux fields are expelled from the material. Any material exhibiting these properties is a superconductor.
Meaning it efficiently passes on electricity.
Yo, hashtag not sponsored by Google.
But isn't that like kind of an ideal set of state?
Yes, that's why it's still not consumer friendly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Remember what was the original?
But like, okay, so here's some problems.
Yes.
Number one, according to the article, you have to be near absolute zero.
Yes.
That's very cold.
That's
super cold,
that's negative
bruh.
235 or 50 Kelvin. Hey Google,
So
what is absolute zero in Kelvin?
isn't that zero?
On the website
You're right.
sciencedaily.com, they say, at 0 Kelvin the particles stop moving and all disorder disappears.
Disorder.
Well, here's the thing: we can't get exactly zero. It's absolute zero.
On Earth? No.
No. But like in
Anywhere.
this article, like even to that definition, we can't use anything at absolute zero. But they get really close to it, to where the particles become not even particles
Smudged.
at all. They become waves.
They become butter.
Yeah. But here's the problem: how can you contain that for a marketable sense?
True.
Because you can't just give, hey, look, here's something really cool. Oh, great!
Yeah.
Oh, my hands are gone.
Remember that guy? What was the name of that movie that Sylvester Stallone got cryogenically frozen? And he got sent to the future.
Oh, I know. Futurama.
Bomberman, I think.
No, Futurama.
And let's go with,
Futurama.
yeah, but in that case, in that movie, there was literally one little droplet inside a freaking case, and end of the movie, spoiler for a 30-plus-year-old movie, he literally broke it on the floor, and it froze an entire building where villains were, and that's how he killed the main villain.
And that's how you kill people.
Yeah,
Science, of course.
But so imagine that for a consumer.
You're gonna kill a bunch of bad guys in the
or people by accident. Whoops, my phone fell.
Like for example, let's say like whatever solution they're using to keeping it this cold, it gets off.
That's fine.
Take a long time.
For consumers, like maybe it's for the drunks out there on the block that want an ice cold drink.
For the butterfingers like me, I'm probably gonna break it and freaking kill myself.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
yeah,
it's like for consumer use. I'm pretty sure there's maybe you can count it like on one hand.
like maybe
maybe the amount of uses for that isn't really. It's still pretty niche. Like I don't know.
How about not technology? You could put it into a refrigerator and switch out the entire hardware.
That's even worse.
Switch out the entire hardware and you invest electricity on heating it up.
Wait, why would you want it that cold?
Because it's I'm just saying. I'm spitballing here.
But like, I get what you're saying, Marcos, but we have to.
That's why I need meds.
Think a little more rational.
Yeah. Like I get like over here, all they're saying this is for experimental use, which makes sense because they don't know what the problems is.
And that's why they're
still theoretical.
Yeah, and that's why like smarter people come up with these things, not me.
Okay,
no, and I mean it's not like you're not smart, Marcos. I think the practical
there we go. Yes.
The practical use for it's still untangible. And I mean, I know you probably get excited about these things, but I think that misconnect right there is like how practical is it for daily use, or even for science? I mean, what is their use for it unless they're doing experiments? That's about as far as they're going to take it.
Remember that super thin carbon film for electrical circuits and all those things? They were the material is out there, but it's not economically sound yet to put it in modern and regular day products. There's a market, but the manufacturing process is still not viable, and it's safe for the consumers. Versus this one, it's not safe for the consumers, and there's no product right now out there. If you wanted to, explode like an Apple or a Google.
I mean, like for like a superconductor, what do you need a superconductor for? Because basically, according to a quick Google search, it basically allows electricity to flow freely without resistance.
A generator?
But for what?
Instead of for nuclear reactors, maybe on the spaceship.
I mean,
No lie, Marcos. I can see you trying to like make this into like a snow cone maker and making yourself a nice snow cone.
Yes.
an absolute zero.
Yes.
No,
Absolute zero.
And I freeze my tongue on that because it's so cold.
No, your tongue would dissolve. It wouldn't
Or I
be
have
there
the spoon
anymore.
and I lick the spoon. The spoon's in my mouth, frozen.
He's like, oh no, not today.
I mean, again,
But yeah.
I could see you with your crazy self just
Yes.
trying to make a snow cone.
And I agree. Or do something super cold like that sugar cotton candy, but it's something super cold cotton candy.
Oh man.
You're just giving me more
So, yeah.
ideas.
Oh, man.
So let's go into, was that me? That was not me. So let's go into another topic. And since we are going, how much time have we been? It's been like what, an hour or so.
It's okay. I mean, is everyone okay with the,
So
with the time?
do you want me to go to the two that are connected,
Yes,
or
please.
do you want me? Okay, so
Wait, who are you asking? I answered ahead,
no,
sorry.
you.
Oh,
You. Do you want me to go to the last two that are connected?
or what other option?
I mean, there's the other ones, but I mean, this one seems more interesting.
Yes, please then. Content.
Okay,
Oh, man.
so this is gonna start out with my article first, I guess. So we hear a lot about machine learning, but what is it? Well, Marcos, do you know what machine learning is?
No.
It's maths.
Alan, do you know what machine learning is?
Is it AI by any chance?
Sort of. It's a branch of it.
Like algorithm or
Oh, so
Or-
it knows
or
how to
other.
dance.
No.
Basic.
Machine learning. So algorithms, machine learning, they're all branches of AI. But the specific thing I'm talking about is machine learning. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
Elaine, do
Okay.
you know?
Let's see how
I have no clue.
Okay, have you heard of machine learning by chance?
Nope.
Al, have you heard of machine learning?
I have, but I don't. That's not my forte. I wouldn't be
Okay.
able to explain that.
I heard
Marcus,
it from
if
you.
you have not, me?
Yeah, when you were
Okay.
doing your own labs.
Oh yeah. So like I said, machine learning is basically a branch of artificial intelligence. It provides the system, and this is the definition. It provides the system the ability to automatically learn and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. Machine learning focuses on the development of computer programs that can access data and use it to learn for themselves. So basically, it's how a machine learns. Obviously, machine learning can use different
Duh, the
algorithms,
name's it's
different-
right there in the name.
Yeah. And you don't even know it, but like machine learning it's already in your life. For
Google?
example, yeah, that too. But I was gonna say like a more easier one. I don't know if
Okay.
you guys ever noticed, but like whenever you take pictures of people, eventually your camera can tell whose face is who, and it's gonna be like, hey, this
On
face has popped
Instagram, I
up a
think.
lot. No, just on your phone.
Oh,
Right.
Like on
Um,
Google Photos.
oh yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
It's gonna say,
Right.
"Hey, look, this picture has come up a lot. Who's this person?" You give it a name, and it's like, "All right, I'll make sure to remember that." And eventually, you'd be like, "Oh, this person has popped up in your album a lot of time. What's going on?"
Are you guys dating?
And that's basically
What?
and that's basically machine learning at its finest. It's starting to learn slowly and surely different data points. Another big example is for Tesla cars. Tesla cars can learn the layout of the road the more they drive. How they do it? Through different machine learning algorithms.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Big Brain.
So, so there's actually categories. I don't know if you want me to go over them. I'm not gonna go into like big depth into it, but so they have the first one here is supervised machine learning, which is basically just feeding it data.
Eat.
Specific data. So what I mean by like that is like say you want to find a person, right? And in the group of like pictures, you're like, okay, So here, machine, here's a bunch of pictures of the guy I want or girl that I want you to find. Please tell me the number of times they popped up in my album and which picture specifically. So you give it all this data and you're like, okay, let me see. It runs through all the data and it's like, okay, this person has popped up X amount of times and in these pictures. And be okay, great. And that's supervised machine learning. You give it data, and from that data, it can learn and spit out something that you want. Unsupervised is the opposite. You don't give data to the machine. You're like, okay, I want you to find this, but I have no idea where you can find it. It's unknown to me.
Yes.
Like for example, a really good example is finding the exit of a maze.
Okay.
So you give it a maze, and like I have no idea where the exit is. The exit is somewhere on this maze. You have to find it. So the machine can just open its areas and go through different paths, and eventually be like, okay, here's the exit, and here's the best path to go. Like even for your maps, you're like, I want to go to my tia's house because he's making tamales and I'm hungry.
Very good,
okay,
sir.
great.
Yes.
As you do.
It's like, okay, great. I need to find the best path. Okay. Well, according to what's going on to my data, and what I've seen so far, this is the best route. This is the best route.
Yes.
Okay. Over here, there's another thing is reinforcement machine learning. So very similar to the first one I told you,
Just
except
raw
like,
eating.
It's more of how you train your dog, sort of sense. So like, say you want your dog to know a trick, right? Say you want him to learn how to sit. One way to do it is to literally just say, hey, look, tell it to sit. And if it sits, you give it a treat. And that treat sort of sparks is like, okay, I'm doing something right here because I'm getting food as I'm doing the same thing. And your repetition is over and over and over. And so eventually you don't even need the treat. It's already programmed in its brain. Same thing with this, with the machine learning. After a certain time, they have like point systems and all that. And eventually it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going somewhere right because I'm getting more and more points.
Positive reinforcement.
Exactly. What else? I don't know.
But isn't that like a psychological human thing? Positive versus negative and learning experiences? How does a machine do that though? How does it jump for, this is more good, better?
Through different algorithms.
Oh.
There's different algorithms out there that be like, okay,
that was a lot of calculations.
Say, for example, like you want to keep it on the road, straight on the road, right?
Yes.
You're like, okay, here are your set bounds. If you ever reach these set bounds, you're automatically losing.
No cookie for you.
Exactly. But if you stay within the certain range that I want you to stay, I'll give you more points or more cookies at this point.
Yes.
Is that basic thought of like, okay, the more I do of this, the more cookies I get. But the less I do of this, the less treats I'm going to get.
So you don't want the negative. Is it possible to treat it the other way around? If I do worse, the less cookies, the better for me. Do you think it'll think that way?
There's different machine learning algorithms. Like you do whatever you want.
Oh, mira.
He's like, oh, he went Spanish there.
Yes.
Another machine learning example is, I don't know if you guys ever, I think everyone has seen it. Getting different ads for different things you Google search.
Yes. What's
that? Say, yo, I want maybe like, I like horses. I look up horses. I see videos of horses. Great. Amazing. And then you're going through Instagram and bam, horse riding lessons. You're like, what?
Yeah.
How did Instagram know this? Well, Instagram grabbed data from Google and it's like, listen, this user is really into horses. Give us something with horses. Okay, horses. What I got? I got horseback riding lessons. Great. Let me put that out.
In your area.
Exactly. That's another topic of machine learning. The machine learns through data what you like, and based off of what you like, it'll give you something either similar or the same.
What's the name of it?
That would be supervised or semi-supervised machine learning. Yeah. Basically, machine learning is very set on the data it can get or the data you receive. It's all based on what information it knows. And then it can spit out either the best possible solution or possibly even the worst possible solution. Maybe you want the worst possible case.
Let's say, can I jump this way? Like I'm looking at horses, and then it gives me a coupon for glue.
It can do that. It can make mistakes.
But it's still related to horses, historically speaking.
Yeah.
Or for Jello.
It depends on what parameters you set it to. As if he's like, say like, okay, I want you to give this user 85% relativity of what they're looking up. Okay, I will do that. Maybe that falls with horseback riding, saddle sales, potentially horse races to bet on.
Yeah, that's a lot of marketing potential right there.
Exactly. And it's already out there.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, for example, Elaine, do you have Instagram? I know I'm like writing you out here, but
yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like when you're on Google, like Google itself, like you can go on like YouTube or something, and then you get ads there as well.
Yes.
But yeah, it's the same concept.
Question:
the more you research, the more you'll know.
Elaine, question: do you have a Gmail?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've seen sometimes the same thing. You watch something on YouTube or Google something, and there's a promotion. There's a promotion tab and all those things, right? You can get promotions within your inbox that you can't delete sometimes.
Yeah, like what are they called? There's like, oh my gosh. They had been made on
like,
Gmail, but I forgot what they were called.
But yeah,
it's like you get those spam emails like, I am the Prince of Nigeria.
Those spams, I marked. Gmail has been good at marking those as spam, so I don't even see those that often anymore. But
and that's also a machine learning algorithm learning which email is spam.
True.
I mean,
So like I said, machine learning is already in your life. It makes things a lot easier. Because the machine is learning as the more you do. And it's like, okay, I've even like
the bigger sample group, the better data it'll get.
Even like autocorrect. You know, the more you type, the more accurate your autocorrect is going to be. That's another way of machine learning. And that is a sense. That's why it makes it a branch of artificial intelligence, because you want this AI to learn. And the only way for it to learning is through these machine learning algorithms.
Does Microsoft Word have machine learning on that they're typing?
Almost all programs have some type of machine learning in them, whether it be something minor or something major. Like, for example, Tesla cars, as I said, a big machine learning algorithm in there because you want it to drive very safely.
Yes.
Or something as simple as I said before, your keypad or your keyboard on your phone. The more you type, the more it knows, okay, this is your writing style.
Yes.
Or like when you're on Google and you like search something up repeatedly, like it'll just pop up already.
Exactly, like that. Or like
the top results, right?
Another great use for machine learning, stocks. You can set a machine to learn the pattern of these stocks. And you're like, okay, show me the pattern these past month. And be like, listen, this company has been doing very well. And from the more rise it goes to, it might just rise again later on. Maybe you should buy a stock here. And then maybe it's like, okay, you have a stock here. How's they're doing? It's like, listen, man, this stock ain't doing so well. From this past month, it's been just declining. It's been going up a little bit every now and then. But overall, the decline is just way too big to not ignore.
So like, what about bots that you can like recently with the 3000 series or 330 series, like a bunch of bots allegedly bought the graphics card.
That's a little bit easier to do. It's just buying one thing, right?
Yeah.
So that it could use machine learning, but it's something very minor.
Oh, that bots is just an algorithm, a very small subset. A specific subset of potentially machine learning and AI to that point.
So
the more you know,
I get into machine learning because Marcos has some thoughts again.
What's the title of this segment, please?
Marcos needs meds. Waking up on 11/11/2020 before going to sleep the night before, I saw a video regarding a military incident. I did not watch this video.
It's called Extortion 17. That's the operation.
He says here, in the process of me waking up on Wednesday, I still had that video in mind and thought the following. Number one, I wonder if the ODST soldiers, Space Force, could have been more effective. Number two, ODSTs, how do they help Marcos? We talked about this, the grammar.
He told me not to fix it.
Oh, yeah. But still.
How can they maintain
how about you tell me what it's supposed to say?
How could
How
they
do they
maintain their health in outer space?
You said how do they healthy on slave ships?
How do they stay healthy in spaceships?
Okay, how do they stay healthy in spaceships?
That's me quick typing, like dragging around.
And then number 3, they're probably cryogenically stored until they're needed. Number 4, I wonder if that's how early space voyages to neighboring planets are going to be. Number 5, I'm hungry. I need to get a snack. A sack. Number 7, how much food will accrue for planet? No, you spelled planetary wrong.
I know.
Planetary travels will need in order to survive and develop a colony. Number 7, I still am looking for that snack. I don't know where it's going to be. Number 8, how many must be awake for transport or colony work? Number 8, we really need AI. Number 9, what kind of snack should I get? A sandwich? Peanut butter jelly? There's possibilities. Number 10, will they have overcalculation decay like this is supposed to be Cortana.
Yeah,
Number
the
10,
thinking disease.
should I make a sandwich for Misa as well? Number 11, can AI go crazy?
Yeah, I was thinking this while I was waking up.
I would like a sandwich.
He's like, I like a bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel.
Please.
We ended up having just, classic toast with avocado and
nice.
sesame seed.
Yeah, avocado toast.
So
yes.
So let's address the last question. Can I go crazy?
I mean, what was the theory behind that? With
Terminator, have you seen it?
It depends on like what you mean by crazy. Can it make errors? Yes.
Can those errors stack up?
If we give AI sort of a human-like behavior, then obviously it can make mistakes. Because humans think
it's part of its algorithm, really.
But like humans think more than just data. They think they have emotions, they have things holding them back, fear, all these different things. The machine does not have all this stuff. They're gonna think on what's the most logical decision that'll help out the most, and that's it. Sometimes that's not even the most moral decision.
Oh yeah, what was this movie? I, Robot. You are in danger.
Exactly. Like if you give an AI, listen, AI, I want you to always protect me no matter what cost.
It's gonna kill everyone else.
They might exterminate anyone who thinks it's a threat.
Everything, they
won't discriminate. It could be your friend
because it's
family.
breathing your air.
It could be Elaine herself. Well, we know.
Wait, what?
And it won't discriminate because it doesn't have those same things that humans do. It doesn't have emotion. It doesn't have fear. It doesn't have love because it's a machine.
The social construct in order to enable further survival. Machines aren't worried about that.
And as of right now, we can't program that.
It's survival?
No. Well, we could program it survival, but we can't program emotion.
But that emotions, aren't they contributed to survival in our situation?
Well, it depends because self-survival, you don't need emotion that much.
Yeah,
but you just kill.
That's why we have tribes to lower the burden.
But if you have multiple people, then you might have to worry about other people's safety.
Yeah, the social. What's the word? Socializing?
Social construct?
There we go. Yes. Meanwhile, a robot doesn't have to worry about that.
Exactly. Like, for example, Cortana, in the video game, Cortana had a very human-like behavior. But then again, that also drive her insane.
But that was just, in the sense for the video game, they didn't specify why.
Well, yeah, but
But if we go into detail, I feel like it was errors, leaking memories, and all those things, like the freaking jargon.
What happened with Cortana? She betrayed the one person she actually loved.
Loved? Question mark?
Well, for a machine.
Yes.
It was Master Chief.
And in the books, there's a reasoning how she picked him. Just because he had that je ne sais quoi, that's, I don't know, something. In a freaking machine to say that?
So, this goes back into the question, will AI have very similar, have human capabilities? And, as of right now, from the trends that we're looking at, I don't think so.
Unfortunately not.
Because, we can train a robot to be as smart as it can. It can be smarter than us. But things like I said, emotion can never be programmed as of right now. Can it be later on? I mean, I really don't think so.
Question. Was it really true that they put an AI on Twitter and within 24 hours they had to shut it down?
You mean AI or API?
What's the difference?
API is it's not an AI.
Because it has a P in between, but I don't know if that's...
API is like a source for most, like for example, for most OS, they have an API. So it's like a type of software that they can relate to. It might give information, it might, collect information, all that stuff. AI is something more independent. So it depends on what do you mean, like what's your context?
I don't know. I mean, allegedly in that one, so...
Like if you could tell the rest of the story.
Do you want me to ask Google?
Sure.
Hey, Google, did Twitter ever use an AI in their system?
On the website bernardmar.com, they say, the social media platform also deployed AI to fight inappropriate and racist content on its platform as authorities in the UK and Germany increase measures and fines to prevent hate speech, fake news, and illegal content on social media.
So what are you trying to say is that?
Yes, but it was only for monitoring and to learn, allegedly, to monitor.
So it probably did.
Right.
But then it went haywire.
It's like, but everything changed with the Fire Nation.
In 24 hours.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like I said, these machine learnings are great, but they can be very far off as well.
This one went far off, allegedly. I don't think it's appropriate. I won't say that. But yeah,
so silence, Marcos. We have to keep this PG-13.
It wasn't appropriate. Let's just keep it that way. Elaine.
Elaine needs to stay innocent. But
That's fine.
Like, fine.
Good Lord.
She's a girl that has Instagram, Twitter. She's definitely not innocent.
Well, we didn't say anything about Twitter.
Do you have a Twitter, Elaine?
I don't use it. I think I have an account, but I don't use it.
She definitely has a Twitter. She definitely has
Elaine,
a Facebook.
Elaine, do you have a Reddit?
No.
Okay, she's pure. Never mind.
She's still like a third in. At least, I'd say a fourth in or a fifth. Because there's still Reddit, there's 2chan, there's 4chan.
No, we can't talk about that. Don't give her ideas.
I've never heard of those.
There's 3chan.
No, Marcus.
There's 3.5chan.
Marcus, keep
Wait,
it down.
what?
He's like, there's 2 squared, chan.
Yes.
So yeah, so from this section, we learned that Marcos needs meds.
Do I need meds, Alan and Elaine?
I don't think so. You're like more of a thinker who thinks outside the box, which I think is needed, to be honest.
But this was while I was waking up. I was being a lazy person. Okay, I'm hungry, and then thinking about that. Because I finished the series of books for Halo. That was my only inspiration for that video.
Good Lord. What?
He's like, he saw all of it.
I read audiobooks. I listened to your recommendations, Alan, to go Audible, and I basically binged the entire universe for Halo. It's the Halo.
Wait, that was my recommendation?
Yeah, but I did it before.
I think he said that you recommended an Audible, and then he listened to the message to the Halo books.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, I recommended Audible, but I didn't recommend what subject, but...
I know. I took my decision on that one.
Yeah.
That's the human choice.
All you, bro.
Whoa. Hey, that's it for part 1.
What? There's a part 2 then, right?
Of course.
Okay, guys. Stay tuned for part 2 of this podcast. By the way, what's the release schedule, Josue?
Well, depending on what it is, the next episode could be either Thursday or next week, Tuesday.
Okay, so me, the editor, I'll try to make sure, delirious over here. I'll try to make sure that I'll release it at an early time every Tuesday and Thursday on East Coast time.
So that means if you're on the West Coast, you're about 4 hours behind.
The West Coast, really?
Yes, the West Coast. I said the West Coast? Oh, I meant the West Coast.
This is staying in.
This is gold.
But anyways, listeners, until next time.
Stay tuned.
Stay frosty.
Oh, like Frosty.
Hi there. Thank you for tuning into the LTS Podcast. All the notes and more can be found in the description. By the way, we have a social media page where content is posted regularly. Feel free to reach out at us through there or via email. Both are found in the description. When you support the show, we have a merch store where you can buy an item that you like. If buying merch is not your thing and you just want to support the show directly, we also have links to those too, if you'd like. Thank you. Also, every comment is really appreciated. Credits in the description as well. Peace.